Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Come to you live from our comfy couch here in the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for December 4th, 2022, with your host, Peacemaker2448 and Rampant Epsilon.
Hi.
As I land on the Velvet Room music of all fucking things. That feels appropriate for the intro. So, we don't have a whole lot of Hibiki to talk about.
For either show, really.
Yeah, because Gates was more of, hey, we're furthering the mystery and stuff. Also, here is new person in charge of the DGP, I guess? And is the one that hands out the buckles?
I also love the fact that, you know, the show has decided to now make it a point to be like, oh yeah, there is a crap ton more staff members than just the two that we knew about.
Yeah, Punk Jack's one. Neon Stats one, I guess.
Apparently.
And then there's new guy in chair with
assistant lady.
Yep.
And we've got the monster rancher.
Yeah. Garden man who wants to blow up the DGP. Apparently. I just find it funny that, like, out of all these people, like, Sabiri is the one, like, most, like, hang on, do we really gotta take out Keats? Like, do we have to? Like, she just seems to not have any ulterior motive in any of this. She's just like, but the game is fun, right? Like, she does not know what other deeper bullshit there is there.
I love the fact that her exact sentiment was pretty much, you know, he's the one saving us right now. Are we sure it's a smart idea to get rid of him?
Yeah.
And she's got a point. He kinda has been the one to pretty much single-handedly win it countless times now.
Literally countless, because we have no idea.
Well, I mean, it seemed like it progressed pretty quick. So if we took that into consideration, then you're probably looking at, I'm gonna say 4 to 6 a year.
Probably, because he's won at least, what, 3 that we know about? Well, hang on. 4 that we know about.
4 that we know about.
Yeah, because he probably won the one Bubba wasn't in before.
Well, I mean, he obviously did. Because I believe that has been said that he has been winning a lot of them.
Right.
So I would have to think that he's probably won every one of them that he has been in so far.
Right.
But if you figure, we'll even lowball it. Screw it. We'll say 4 a year.
Yeah.
That means he's participated in about 8,000 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Yeah. Once more, leading to the thought that the ace that we see is just a broken is broken a bit by how much and how much he's done, and how long he's kept this up. Like, I feel weird when people are like, Geets is an asshole, and I'm like, do you mean actual Geets or the Geets that we have to see every week? Because those are two different people, I feel like, at this point.
Yep.
Like, yes, he is an asshole, but he's being an asshole on purpose. Is the thing.
Also, I know the musical chairs round is not gonna be his death for this. We're too far away from the end of this DGP. Come on.
We already have it out, even if he does. If anything, Punkjack's going to quote unquote lose, but still stick around because all of your DGP staff, it's fine. Or the game master showing up in his fucking writer form is just gonna be like, the game is not over, but like it's gonna throw an entire massive wrench into the things, and it's just like, the game as we know it does not exist anymore. That's my thought, at least, is that once he steps in, throw everything we know about how the GTP works out the window, because it's not going to apply anymore.
No, they're going to come up with some kind of rule saying the game master is allowed to intervene.
Right.
Only if it means not eliminating riders on his own or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
Because they're setting up the monsters are getting overpowered beyond where they were intended.
Yeah.
So I could see that being oh yeah, he can be a rider and come in. And they'll probably be empty threats to Geets while he's on screen with him.
I do like that Geets is, once we're chipping away at the facade of Geets, because he's like, no, can I borrow your belt for 10 minutes, please? For 5 minutes, and I will get my belt back, and I will give you everything. Even the new fancy buckle I just randomly got that seems really stupid powerful. Nah, have that one too. It's fine.
And you know, there's a big difference between now and in the past. Because in the past, he's just been very manipulative to still get his end goal. This one, no, he's flat out. Let me borrow this, you get everything. Let me prove a point here, and it's all yours.
Yeah, and specifically, it's the Tycoon, not Nako, who he's been working with this entire time. Tycoon. But I feel like he trusts both of them at this point, because I also feel like he's realized, I need help. Especially now, because the DGP staff are literally out for my head now. I could probably use help.
I feel like he also trusts Buffa, but Buffa doesn't trust him.
Right. Which I think, again, goes back to the end of the game, where Buffa was the only one that really didn't contribute actively to winning the game. It's because he still doesn't trust anyone.
I think this is going to be the point where that changes.
Yeah.
Because he's already starting to see the corruption with the staff. And I get the funny feeling that he's going to turn on them.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time. Because he's trying to figure out what the end goal is.
Yeah, I have to wonder what this is all for now anyway, because it's like, okay, so we have this other person that presumably is some big shot businessman. We've got Neon Stat, who's clearly his big shot businessman. What the fuck is the point of this game then? If the Yamato are manufactured for the purposes of the game, then it's not them. And it's not to make them stronger, because that's a bad thing. Then we're cultivating the writers. What are the writers for?
That's my thing. Because it's obviously not a business strategy, because otherwise why would they go about making it a point to wipe everyone's memories when they lose?
Right.
So it's clearly not a monetary thing. It has to be something else. I can't foresee it being take over the world kind of plot. Otherwise, why at the end of the game would everything reset back to how it was before?
Right.
It's one of those, it's like the normal thoughts of what their end goal is can't really happen because of the way they've set the game up.
Mm-hmm.
Like the only other mentality could be if they're treating the riders as like beta testers for the drivers.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like that might be a little bit of a copy paste from game if that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they'd go about that.
Yeah. Also, I want to throw this crackpot theory at you from Thomas GGB, because he tweeted it, and I'm like, I don't think so, because it doesn't make sense. So, you know that first scene we have with Geets at the start of the series where he's on like the coast side and he gets his belt and stuff? That scene is actually from the final episode. Pure crackpot theory, mind you. Like, way out there theory.
Not really way out there.
Right. He points out that, like, Takeshi, the writer, kind of has done this with X8 before.
Well, we kind of got it there. And I would almost feel like it would actually draw inspiration from Gaim then.
Mm-hmm.
Because essentially that's how it was. The fight we saw at the beginning of Gaim technically was the final fight.
Right.
Even though it really wasn't by the time we got there, but it technically was.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see something like that with this, but at the same time, that still doesn't really throw in the ideas of what the end goal is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the big thing I kind of want answered now is just like, okay, what is the point of the DGP?
Yeah, because too many of the other beats are just right there in everyone's face.
Right. Like, does it have something to do with Ace's mom? Because I can't think of any other reason for it to be that. Because, like, if his wish is being denied, okay, let's use every other wish we've seen be accepted, regardless of if they've come true or not, as examples of, okay, can't be that, can't be that, can't be that, can't be that, can't be that. We're kind of at the point where it's just like, she has to be tied to some deeper thing involved the DGP, because otherwise it should be accepted, because it would fall under the logic of any other wish we've gotten.
Well, I mean, the bulk of what everyone would have expected, you know, her being dead, kind of got disproved with Tycoon's wish.
Right. If he's wishing back all the fucking writers, like, that, she can't be dead then, because...
Yeah, because obviously they can reverse death.
Hell, they're reversing the death of all the writers, which I'm sure would be an extra complication of itself, unless they were going to get revived memory-wise, go about your business.
Well, I mean, he didn't go full-on specific with it. He just
right.
Wanted them to come back.
Right.
So, that gives a lot of wiggle room to still wipe memories.
Right. So, like, what's the problem? What are we missing? Otherwise, I'm still enjoying Jade's. And it clearly was the Sakamoto episode this week. I wonder why they called him in. It's almost like they needed a bunch of fight scenes with the actors doing the fighting. I wonder what Sakamoto's really good at, amongst other things. But I guess, shall we get to the 4 episodes of Hibiki?
I mean, I guess. It was definitely 4 episodes.
Yeah, it was a standalone episode for some reason, a 2-parter, and then the first of a 2-parter. Which feels random. So 25 running Azure. Essentially Hibiki fights a Kappa that hits him with some goop that is apparently full of helium because it changes his voice by the end of the episode. Asuma, apparently Hitomi has a thing for Asuma, but she doesn't want to like come out about it, and Todoroki says a lot of things that upsets her, and that gets us essentially introduced to Tutsumo, who used to be an Oni disciple until his parents told him no, and then he stopped being one, and now he's like a lifeguard. And also another writer, because we get introduced to Sabaki. That's episode 25. Any thoughts on it?
No.
Okay. 26. Asuma's practicing his drums. We have Hibiki try to chase down the black coat person who's in like traditional regular attire with some woman. He fails. Todoroki fights a crab and then spots, I believe, black coat. I think. So he thinks there's like a summer monster or something about. So Hibiki gets called in to investigate. They try to investigate, fail. Find a couple of them, but only get one of them before they all ran off. Also, a joke about people keep bringing in watermelons for a celebration, because they end up with 3 watermelons by the end of these 2 episodes. Which, okay. And Tutsubo drops by to talk to Minori, and yeah, that's it. So 27. We find out that Tutsubo wasn't apprenticed to Hibiki, so he was apprenticed to someone else. And apparently in a novel, he is a taiko drum oni, meaning any of our taiko drum onis from before could have been his master, but it's never been confirmed. Which I guess doesn't really matter, because I don't know if he even shows up past this point in the episodes, or past this point in the show. But Zaki comes across the Makamau in the white coat, gets destroyed by him. So he has to sit this out. Hibiki and Todoroki find where the cats are at. They go beat him up. And we also get kind of Hibiki seeing Asuma's apprentice, but not for Oni stuff, just as a, I don't mind just tutoring this kid for life stuff. I don't necessarily want him to become an Oni, but I'm just here to help him. That's kind of it. So that's 27 in a nutshell. Any thoughts on that one? Or those two?
No.
Alright then, 28! Hibiki gets the drumstick broken by one of the Makamau, so he's sidelined, I guess, till it's repaired. Meanwhile, apparently between episodes, Asuma got attacked by the shoplifter from a previous episode. So he's down in dumps about it. Hibiki takes him camping to make him feel better. At the end of the episode, he falls down a cliff. Or he slips and falls down a cliff. Meanwhile, we find out that our two main villains that I don't even think get named have been experimenting on stuff, and all the coat stuff we've been seeing, the black coats and white coats, are just puppet clones of them, I think.
That's kind of what I grasped of it.
Yeah, just doing whatever they tell them to do, and that's kind of it for our villains. We get nothing else. But we now have a spider back mouth that takes out another new Oni, Iki, who gets run off and falls down a cliff. Hibiki and Turkey try to go find him. They run into the Makamau. They start fighting them, and that's the episode. Any thoughts?
No.
Oh, so yeah, that was Hibiki for the week, folks. It's not a whole lot. It really isn't.
I feel like the problem is this show is a really slow burn the entire way.
Yeah. But I have good news and bad news on that respect. Good news, things are going to take a drastic change in our next batch of episodes.
That's also the bad news, though.
Yes, because episode 29 is the final episode of the current staff of the show. Episode 30 will be the first episode of the staff change. So episode 30 will be our first episode with Shirakura as producer and Inoue as writer. Oh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I've kind of been avoiding Dom Brothers because I'm like, I don't need an Inoue show in my life because, God, do I not want to go on that roller coaster ride that's gonna probably end up being garbage, but here we are. So how do you feel going into that? Yeah, that's how I feel too. So yeah, that's next week, folks. Anything else?
No.
So just so you know, folks, we might be stopping the show early now because depending on how far down the cliff this show goes, we might check out before the end. So I am not ready for an Inoue show. But between now and then, we got Tommy doing some Dread Rando sometime this week. Thursday, we'll be continuing Pokemon Violet. Friday will be more Majora's Mask Co-op. And Saturday will be a thing.
Probably gonna be Odyssey.
But if you like what you're seeing, folks, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chipping away at that Philly cool. @TZ on Twitter gets the updates on live. Especially when Discord and Jack is this sort of thing. Drop by, say hi. See you sometime this week, folks.